I'm glad you're here. I'm your host, Angel's Calamity, and I got a new webcam.
I got a new light.
Your light is pretty good, but my webcam's pretty good too. Glad you guys are here. Glad you could make it. If you guys don't know me by now, you should. I have a little YouTube gaming channel on YouTube, youtube.com/angels_calamity. Check out. I do Let's Plays and stuff, and we have a good time. And my co-host, Directionally Challenged.
I am Directionally Challenged. I do Let's Plays, reviews, and sketches and stuff, dits. Yeah.
Dits? Bruh.
I'm rocking my panda shirt today. Pirate panda to fit my pirate theme.
Panda. I have my sweater I got for Christmas. It's my Edward Elric sweater, and it says shrimp.
Yeah, but are you rocking a Gundam sweater?
No.
I got Death Scythe, the best Gundam.
Edward Elric. Come on
Death
now.
Scythe.
Edward Elric.
But Death Scythe.
The best voice.
But that Death Scythe, though.
Gundam's got nothing on Full Metal Alchemist, my dude. Gundam's not
debatable.
But that's not what we're talking about today.
No, we're not talking about that today. No.
We're going to talk about some anime video games coming up soon. Stay tuned for that. And don't forget about our anime club. We'll talk about that as well. But first, we talk about our news. And
it's our first bit of news.
I will start us off with our first bit of news. Miss Kabiyoshi's Dragon Maid. You know, you guys might have heard about this anime from me before.
Yeah, you talked about it. Literally last week.
Have I?
Didn't you?
Yes, but...
That's what I thought.
The second season is coming. It's coming. Miss Kabiyoshi's Dragon Maid S anime streams 4 character videos. So you got some little videos, and once again, you guys can find the links to these in our Discord channel. If you're not a member of the Discord, it's in the chat. Check it out. It's cool. We're there. Hello. But the official website for the television anime of Cool Yushina's Miss Kabiyoshi's Dragon Maid manga has been streaming 4 character videos on Thursday for the show's second season. And it's about like our little dragon characters that we know from the first one. And they're all very cute, very uwu, very kawaii. And Kyoto Animation is returning to produce the anime, which will debut in 2021. The S in the show's second season stands for Super Supreme Second Life Starts. A little bit extra for that title.
Little long.
Look, a little bit.
They're just like, forget it. Put an S on the end. That's good enough.
That works. What's the S stand for? We'll figure something out.
Yeah,
they announced it in February 2019, and it's coming out in.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, look, I don't know. The manga is still ongoing, mind you. So if you guys want more Dragon Maid and can't wait, I recommend picking up the manga. I have not read it, but it's on my list to do things. So, and the first season aired in Japan in January 2017. Crunchyroll streamed it, and Funimation streamed it on English dub. So if you guys have not seen that, I highly recommend you check it out.
Rockamond.
What's our next news story, DC?
So the Attack on Titan manga editor is saying that Kodansha is taking strict actions against illegal uploads. The editor states that Kodansha is going to be discussing matters with the police. The official, the Twitter account for the editor stated Kodansha is taking strict actions against illegal uploads, currently working on identifying the root of the leak. All other illegal uploads are also under discussion with the police. We hope you'll continue to enjoy our official products. The manga, of course, runs in Kodansha's Basatsu Shonen magazine, and the magazine's next issue, the February 2021 issue, is going to ship out on January 9th. The 33rd volume of the manga will be shipping out on the 8th. So,
Ishiyama reported last month that the manga is 1 to 2% away from completion.
That's really, really close.
Yeah, it is. It is. And look, pirating things doesn't help anyone. So, get your stuff from official sources.
If you can, yes. There is some debate here. I have been a part of some of these debates because there are places where you cannot get the official release.
Availability, yes.
Yeah, there's also people that can't necessarily afford the official release. So there is arguments that's why I always state, if you can support like a game that I'm playing on my channel, or if you can support the official release, that's always the best option. Always try to take that option first.
Supporting the developers means more content.
Yes, that's the first road you should always try to take.
Yes,
But
for sure.
you know,
That's the first official road, anyway.
yes, that's the first road you should always try. There's always things where maybe you certain households won't allow you to. Those are
Yeah,
where
but
my arguments come in.
there's a
I can
lot.
understand when it's more acceptable, but there's times where if you can support the official release, if you have the option to, then you should.
Oh, and if something's not been released officially, that's what causes more problems than anything else does. Leave leaks alone, okay? Those creators weren't ready to release those things. They weren't prepared. They were not.
Well, there's another argument for leaks in that a lot of the time those leaks are done on purpose.
Well, sometimes they are, though. But
I've worked in Hollywood. Those leaks a lot of the time, those are done to drum up news.
no, fair enough. Get attention to it.
But with this one, when they state they're going to talk with the police and things like that, that is not a leak done on purpose.
Mm-mm.
It's those leaks when you see like people on the news that are just like, "Wow, who could have done this?" and like nobody's discussing anything with like anyone. It's just like, "Who did this?" You're like, "You did it. You did."
Next up in news is Tokyo Babylon 2021 anime is being delayed from April to some other time due to a plagiarism incident. Staff apologized earlier this month for incidents of referencing costume designs without permission. The official website for Gohan's Tokyo Babylon 2021 television anime revealed on Thursday that the anime is delayed from its planned debut to an as yet unspecified date. The staff says they are delaying the anime to an incident where the staff had referenced costume designs for two characters from other sources without permission.
Hi, Missy.
Hello. The staff are setting up a compliance team to better prevent future issues.
Yeah, I like this. That's very Japanese though, isn't it? Like a compliance team and like delaying stuff and apologizing whenever like they make a mistake or do something wrong.
Yes.
You don't see that with American media.
No, not often. The staff apologized for this earlier this month for the incident. The designs appeared in a visual and character design illustrations. The staff removed all images from the official website and announced it was changing the designs immediately, which is really cool, actually. That
Yeah,
they said that they did not do copyright awareness properly.
Copyright?
So,
They didn't do copyright? Yeah, they realized, hey, we were wrong. We didn't realize it. We like what the vetting process didn't go 100% properly, so we're pulling all this. We're gonna redo the art and we'll put it back out there. That's what's cool about it. It's like, oh,
it is. They describe the story of Tokyo Babylon as it's 1991, the last days of Japan's bubble economy, and money and elegance run through the streets. So do the currents of darkness beneath them, nourishing evil spirits that only the art of the Onmyoji. Thank you. Japan's legendary occultists can combat. The two most powerful Onmyoji are the unlikely guises of a handsome young veterinarian. Strange thing to be.
Okay.
A veterinarian.
All right.
Shishiro and the teenage heir to the ancient Sumeragi clan, Subaru. So, look, honestly...
The car will save us!
I don't know. A veterinarian sounds like a very strange protagonist.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it, but my uncle just bought my cousin a Subaru. That's why I'm laughing.
I gotcha. I see.
That's funny.
What's our next news story, DC? I'm not yawning.
Funny.
You're yawning.
Halo Infinite is getting delayed to give you the game you deserve, says the studio head.
Do you think maybe they learned from Cyberpunk 2021?
Look, Cyberpunk got delayed, and they kept trying and trying. And the PC release is great. The PC release is not perfect, but it's great. There's some minor bugs. Yeah, no, there's very minor bugs. They're all kind of just like graphical bugs that you kind of expect, which it's sad that we've gotten to that point in life where we just kind of like expect graphical bugs now.
Yeah,
But
look, I'm a
there's
big fan of Halo, the Halo series anyway. I've not played Halo 5 because I don't have an Xbox One,
I lost interest in Halo after like the
but
third game.
I still love Halo.
Yeah.
343 studio head Bonnie Ross has promised that the prolonged wait for Halo Infinite will be well worth it. Thank you for your
Did you
patience,
say
your
Bunny?
understanding, and Bonnie. Her name is
You said
Bonnie.
Bunny.
I said Bonnie. Thank you for
Nah.
your patience, your
The
understanding, and most
sass
importantly,
from
your words
Halo.
of support for the team. And she pretty
Are
much goes on to say that this will be the game that it will be worth it. You know, like this will be the game,
are you
the
playing it
game
on
you
PC,
deserve.
Chase? Are you playing it on PC? Or are you playing it on the PlayStation or Xbox?
He's playing it on PC.
Oh, I got no problems. I've not had any crashes.
But look, I love Halo, and they're aiming for fall 2021 for now. But it might have to change because they want to make sure it's a good game, and I'm all here for that. I'm here for delays to increase
Yeah,
quality of
yeah. You know
content.
what? Game companies just don't announce the official release date until you've worked out 90% of the bugs. Like, just don't do it. Just don't announce the official date until you worked out most of the bugs. Because look, we all know that with modern games, it's a lot of work. There's a whole lot of engine to work with now. It's not like the old days where you were working on like a little tiny board about this big, and this was the game. You know, we're now working on massive amounts of computers. There's hundreds of people to get this project done. Animators and set designers and character modelers and skeleton builders and light, experts and things like that. Just don't announce the release date. Just don't do it.
That's
Just
a
hold it
reasonable
back.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
just
reasonable.
and release a solid game. Like hold it back. You know you're gonna have to do updates because no matter what you do, there's gonna be
You're gonna need
something you
patches.
missed.
You're gonna need
Yeah,
updates.
it's always gonna need it because something's gonna go wrong. You can't get everything, but this is why we have beta testers and alpha testers. And I don't really know if we've got those anymore. Because with the way games get released now, it really doesn't seem like they've been beta tested. Just saying.
Probably not.
I think we need to bring back beta testers. I am willing to do your beta testing for you. I literally have an entire playlist on my channel dedicated to games I broke. I will find your bugs and
Excellent.
I will play your game and I will break it.
Hey, I'm down for some beta testing too. But that's about it for our news for today. So onwards
Yes.
to our topic, which is what,
We're going to
Daisy?
be discussing anime video games, a more generalized topic than we usually discuss, mostly because there's a lot to like actually dig into.
There's a lot
Yeah,
to unwrap with anime video games. There really
and
is.
yeah, and so we wanted to use this as sort of like a starting point of a conversation, and maybe in further seasons we'll actually break down and discuss more in depth the games themselves and like.
Don't forget, leave your comments over there. If you guys want to take part in the discussion, we will happily hear your thoughts on anime video games.
Yes, let us know down below or in the comments, like
Or over there, whichever way.
what
It's
your favorite anime video games are, what your least favorite ones are, what your favorite genre of anime video game is, because they do come in a multitude of genres. Like, obviously, the most popular is the fighting genre.
yes.
You know, these are
Like
your
what shonen anime, what popular shonen anime does not have a companion fighting game for it in some capacity?
Yeah, even like you've got, of course, Dragon Ball Z being the most popular, Naruto being the second most popular,
My
but we even
Hero
My Hero
has
Academia has one. Black Clover
Jump.
has
Don't forget
one.
about Jump Force.
Yeah, Jump Force has all that. I think
Jump
there's even
Force is
like
the Smash Brothers of anime.
even Fairy Tail. I think has like
Fairy
its
Tail
own
just
thing.
released a new one this year, and I thought it
Yeah.
was a beat 'em up, but it's actually a JRPG. And from what I
Oh,
researched,
great.
it's
That's
really solid. It
that
takes the two
is
most exciting arcs because I looked into this one personally. It takes the two most exciting arcs of the anime and turns it into a well balanced JRPG. And I'm
yeah.
like,
Apparently the reviews are very positive.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. Honestly,
Then
speaking of,
that's gonna be similar to like One Piece World Seeker then probably.
there's another JRPG while researching for this episode that I took note of, and I was gonna see if anyone else have heard of it because it looked really good. Tales of Berseria.
Yes.
Have you heard of it? Have you played it?
What? Heard of it? Yeah, I've played it.
Is it good?
I've only got about 4 hours in it at the moment, but yeah, no, it's really solid and it's a really fun game. It's
Supposedly the
like
story is really good and dark, and like they have
yeah, there's
exorcists and demons, and yeah.
yeah, it's a part of the Tales of series. There's Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Berseria. There's a bunch of Tales of games.
Hmm.
They fall in the line of like your typical JRPG, which I've got untold numbers of in my library of games, in my DS, my Game Boy, my PlayStation 3, my PlayStation 2, my Dreamcast.
Me
Um,
too. I have a lot of to play.
yeah,
There's just not enough time, man. There's not enough time. But look,
no.
JRPGs are very, very, very popular for being very
Yeah,
time consuming.
Nino Kuni is another JRPG that you can technically. It is an anime game. It's made by Studio Ghibli, so I mean, it is
I played the first
literally.
one. I played the
Uh,
first one of
I
those. It
didn't
was
play the first one. I played the second.
see the first one I found it was decent. Nice little game. I
It's
mean,
the
it's not
most.
little, but it's good.
It's the
It's
most
solid.
Ghibli thing ever. like
It's
like
very Ghibli.
like
Very, very
I've got
Ghibli.
52 hours in Nino Kuni 2, and it's quite possibly the most Ghibli thing ever made.
It's very Ghibli,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of that's what's
But
great about it.
but back to the fighting games that we were talking about. Did you notice that
Yeah.
if you played one fighting game in the series, you played every single one?
I disagree to an extent. This is actually something I wanted to discuss about this. Is that let's take an example of the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, or just Dragon Ball Z the fighting games. Of course, you had the Budokai series, then you had Budokai Tenkaichi, and then you had like Budokai Tenkaichi Ultimate. There's a whole list of them. But every game sort of like the story never really changes unless it's like later on in the anime's life. Then you sort of get more stories added on as each game goes about. But with like the Dragon Ball Z games, I've noticed that they mess with the fighting a lot, and that can be an issue because sometimes a
How do they
game
mess with the fighting?
they change the style of combat, and they change like like every fighting game is not necessarily the same. Blocks are different, how you move is different.
Yeah.
Every fighting game wants to make itself unique because you don't want every game just to be like squares punch, circles kick, things like that. I'm perfectly fine with that, but I think around Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which is very far into the series, they reached the perfect balance of like really good combat, really good camera controls, really good story, a good amount of characters, and like side quests and things like that. It
I
was a
played one of
good.
the Budokais, and it was a game. It was fine.
Yeah,
You
no,
beat
well,
Dragon Ball
look,
characters, you beat other Dragon Ball characters.
I own almost all the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, so
Jason Chat
um,
says Dragon Ball Fighter Z is supposed to be dope. I've seen it played, but not played it myself. The recent ones seem to be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Fighters is like we went back to more arcade style fighting.
Mm,
Which look, I'm an expert on this field. Okay, I
sorry.
grew up playing Tekken and Virtua Fighter and King of Fighters and things like that. I grew up on fighting games. So that's where I will state that, like, yeah, if you're not really that into them, you won't see the difference, and you won't really understand the nuance of control schemes. But there are small changes that developers make to these games that can completely destroy it.
Mm,
And that's sort of what happened to the Dragon Ball Z games. They made a change to the fighting, which they changed how you moved, and they added a third dimension to the combat, which sort of resulted in like having to lock on to opponents and fly to them, and it got a little clunky. It got difficult to aim
unnecessary
properly.
overcomplication.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could move around with like the triggers, and that really overcomplicated the fighting, and the game went downhill, and it hurt the game, and that's like
Hmm.
uh the Naruto, like I have Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 and 4. I have
We have
3
three.
on my, yeah, I have 3 on my PS2. I have 4 on my Steam, and I got really good at the fighting in that game. And I'll state, I love the balance of jutsus and substitutions, and it really ties into like the world and makes the fights seem semi-realistic for the Naruto universe itself. Even though these characters probably wouldn't be fighting, at least when you see the combat, it functions how you would expect it to function in that world. So they do a great job with
The
that.
other day, I came upstairs and my husband, I heard Madara Uchiha's voice, and I'm like, "What is that? Michael's not watching Naruto without me." And I went upstairs, and he's playing the demo for Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and I'm just like, "Spoiler town, don't
Oh
do that."
god,
And
don't
he was
don't.
so deep, like toes deep. I can't say,
Yeah,
yeah, but toes deep into the fight with
waist
between
deep.
Madara and Hashirama, and I'm just like, "Stop it.
Yeah, yeah, there's
Stop
a
it.
lot of
Stop it.
spoilers if you
Stop
haven't
it.
finished the
Stop it."
series.
But look, I actually played that demo on my channel because I have a little thing that I do, not to self promote, but
Yeah.
the damn demos, and I find weird demos and demos, period, and just play them. But that one, I watched it. I played that before I got there in the anime, and I spoiled it for myself. And I'm like, Michael, we're like right about there. Could you just not to avoid?
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. But
Yeah.
that was a really solid game too, though. Like all of the
Yeah,
Naruto,
it's
but still, if you
they're
play
really good. The
one
some not all the
Naruto,
Narutos are great. If you played the GBA ones, they're not great.
it's a Game Boy game. What more do you
Yeah,
expect?
yeah, the Game Boy game is like the movie tie-in game. No matter what genre it is, even the One Piece Game Boy game is like the freaking movie tie-in game. If you guys are too young to remember this, that was when back in the day, a big old movie would come out, and then the studio would state, "Let's release a video game with it," like the Godzilla game or things like that. They weren't
Yep,
great.
yep.
They weren't great.
Oh, the Matrix
Ah,
games. I don't
oh.
know if you guys know this. I'm a big fan of the Matrix. I am still a big fan of the Matrix movies. I love them. The Matrix games sucked.
Yeah, yeah, Superman 64.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's like reportedly one of the worst video
yeah.
games in history. Chase in
So
chat says, "Yes, I'm too young for that."
yeah,
Thank you for aging
the
us, Chase.
yeah,
We appreciate that.
so the Game Boy game is the movie tie-in game of the anime game.
But
But
yeah, and
yeah,
look, none of
the
if you're gonna play a game on Game Boy, keep it to like Pokemon. Like,
yeah, Pokemon I don't really count technically as an anime game
no.
because the game came first.
What came first, the game or the anime? In
Yeah,
this case, the
yeah,
game
it's
did.
the game, and then they made an anime based off of it, so it became an anime game.
Chase in chat says Chicken Little was an amazing game. I don't
No,
know. I never played Chicken Little for the Game Boy. I can't.
yeah,
I have no reference for this.
there's another game genre though that's sort of like the equivalent of the movie tie-in game, and that's the beat 'em up game, the Dynasty Warriors ripoff game.
Bayonetta's.
Not really Bayonetta. I'm talking
I consider that like a hack and slash. Like,
what like One Piece Pirate Warriors.
oh, PS2. I
Yeah,
see you in chat, Chase. I don't.
One Piece Pirate Warriors is basically just if you took One Piece and you took Dynasty Warriors and you just like mashed them together. So it's just one person fighting massive waves of enemies. You know,
I
you're
gotcha.
running around the map fighting enemies. And
God of War esque, which is what Bayonetta kind of is.
kinda, yeah, Bayonetta is. But Bayonetta's not really an anime game. It was its
But
own
it's
thing,
in the
luckily.
anime style, though. There's a lot of games like that.
Ish, yeah, kinda.
Like Persona.
Yeah.
Persona series, that was another game first. I think Persona 5 has an anime adaptation, doesn't it?
Yes, all the
Yeah.
Persona games have anime adaptations, I think, except for
Yeah.
maybe 1 and 2. I don't think they have one yet.
But
Um,
like Persona 5, even if there was no anime, it's still an anime style game because
yeah.
that's a whole like, do we just go off of anime styled games or do we go off of games based on anime?
Look,
Like there's
I've got like an
tons.
accumulated 400 hours in Persona games. Don't I'm
I
gonna be here
have
all
Persona
day
5.
about
I just have
Persona.
never played it.
You
Shame
do
me,
it.
guys.
Do
I
it.
know I have so much stuff to do.
It is super amazing. It is well worth it. Um, but yeah,
One anime game poured way too much time into was Inuyasha. There was like 4 of them back when Inuyasha was
I
first popular.
yeah.
And I played Inuyasha, the Feudal Fairy Combat. and Feudal Combat and A Feudal Fairy Tale, and then Inuyasha and The Secret of the Cursed Mask. Those were just they were bad though. They were bad.
I poured a lot of time into the Yu Yu Hakusho games. I poured a lot of time into what was the Full Metal Alchemist game on the PS2.
There's a puppy. Out, pup. Go on. Apologies.
I played a lot of that.
Say hello. Now go away. Go away. Sorry. Everyone loves a puppy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Everyone does. Dragon Quest is another anime styled game. Of course it is. It was the original artwork was done by Akira Toriyama, which again famously did Dragon Ball Z, and that is another JRPG. And there's like there's really a lot of games out there, and in fact I'm just looking at my own library.
Are you just
and
looking
finding,
at your library?
Yeah, because I have so many. And if I really wanted to, like, there's Code of Princess.
Can we talk about weird games?
Oh, there's tons of those.
Catherine?
Yes. Catherine feels like it would be done by the people who do Death Parade.
You're not wrong there. Like, Catherine is weird because some parts of it are completely visual novel, and then we have puzzle and platforming, and then the horror elements are
that's sort of like
undeniable.
That's sort of like Ni no Kuni 2. Yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 fits that criteria where it's like overworld battles, and then it's like all of a sudden Little Chibi Army Simulator, which was base builder game, which was odd. Like, it's a weird combination of game. Like, what?
Up here, behave.
And I don't think I've seen many games outside of like the anime genre of game that like mash up.
Then there's
genres
people,
like that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And anime to sell cards. Look, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a solid anime though. Like,
and the games are solid.
See, I haven't played any Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, but can we just say how similar Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to Magic the Gathering? Can we just?
Well, not really. If you really want to talk similarity, Pokemon is actually more similar to Magic the Gathering.
No, you have to pay to with the thing to pay for everything in a different manner.
Here's why. Okay, yeah, but that's Pokemon and energy cost. You tap your energy or things like that, and that's where it's more similar to Magic than Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just sacrificing monsters. That's
you don't really have to pay anything to summon. You just bring them out.
Yeah, you don't pay for your traps, you don't pay for your spells or anything like that. The spells and traps are all free. You just do them whatever.
It's like a baby's Magic.
Yeah, Pokemon is more closer to Magic's actual play style.
True. And okay, we can
Except
talk
both
about
games
card games.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are about card games, but we're not. We're talking about video games.
Yeah,
what about okay, we're talking about oddballs. Have you ever heard of a game called 999? Another one I stumbled upon in my research.
Yes.
Is it good?
It's amazing.
Good.
It is amazing.
It's supposed to be a stressful, violent story with choices and like a bunch of different endings.
It's you ever play escape games? You know what I mean? Like Escape the Room or things like that. Like, there's a lot of Flash games that are like Escape the Room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but done into a full game.
Huh.
Where there's plot and story elements. It is very anime. All of the characters look anime. And my first playthrough of it, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have sympathy and help out this character. And in the end, she cut off my hand and left me to die. And I was like, my first playthrough, I was a nice guy, and I got the bad ending.
Wow.
If you guys don't know, 999 is 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, or something like that. It's part of Zero Escape, the Nonary game, is another title for
Never heard of them, but it sounds sounds really good. Like, there's something about like a wake up on a ship with a bomb in your stomach or something, and it's just like
you wake up on a ship. The ship is going to explode in 9 hours, and everyone has a little bracelet on them that has a number, and like everything's math based. So when you want to get through certain doors, it has to like the numbers have to add up,
No.
and it's always like I think it's like always single digits. So every time you add up numbers, you then have to add up what the like if you get 15, it's 6, things like that.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's a puzzle game. It's a really good puzzle game though, and it's a mystery and things like that. It all of it works.
Yeah. What
I
about
liked it.
like visual novels, which there are?
I don't.
Are those considered video games?
That's the question, isn't it? Like it is an anime game in a way. Like for me, a visual novel is sort of like the video game version of a choose your own adventure story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
presented to you, but it doesn't really have any game aspect to it. Like there's
Yeah, look, friend of mine and Chase, we all three of us were doing one called Notch the Lunar Leo. It was really long. Notch, Eclipse, Sinners, Lunars.
yeah.
Those words were all in the title, and it was. We have never finished it. It was just like, just there was barely any real meat to it. It was just all like anime stuff all
A
the
lot
time.
of I think that's why
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
visual novels are just, the
There's
P word.
so many of them. If you have a favorite visual novel and you
I don't
disagree with us, make sure you let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
But
sure. I'm not gonna fight you on it.
they're not really I've not ever found one that I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have to play that." The only one that I
I
haven't
just
played that I think I might is Doki Doki Literature Club.
I just I don't care for
If
them.
you know, you know. And is
I
it
mean, most
because
people
of
know
how
Doki
dark it
Doki.
gets that I want to play it? Probably.
Probably that's about like the only interesting thing about it, I think, is
Yeah.
but like when you
Like,
learn about the plot twist is like
would I play that game if there was no dark plot twist? No.
yeah,
No.
exactly. It just kind of gets a little
Like,
that's why I don't really care for visual
ooh, instead
novels.
of just watching an anime that I'm not interested, slice of life kind of anime, let's just read
Yeah,
it instead.
uh
No thanks.
that's sort of
Uh
like
the
oh what
visual novel, Chase mentions a visual novel called Kill Your Boss. I do remember those screenshots, sir.
that's a visual. Yo, Jack,
uh,
something about Doki Doki made me just nope. I gave up on that. There's this visual novel named Roommates, where it's a college love story where you plan your day and how you go through school decides your wife and we can get. Yeah, see, that's why I don't really care for them. Is
yeah,
it's just like I'm just clicking like
just
yes,
clicking
no,
through it.
response, and it's sort of like the worst part of JRPGs minus the fun part of JRPGs. It's like if a JRPG was just talking and grinding and there wasn't any actual combat outside of that or story outside of just talking and grinding.
Now, if I found a good visual novel that had the right balance of either fantasy and action or horror, like it's hard to
I
put action in a
yeah,
visual novel, but I just don't do slice of life or romance that
no,
much.
I don't either.
I
Like
mean, yes, I play Dream Daddy on my channel. I hear you. I feel
I
your
s- I
comments,
couldn't do so much. I could only do so much
but
Dream
that
Daddy
was
before I
different.
was like I'm bored. I need I need
Chase says
something
he
more
plays
than
so
just
many visual
story.
novels. Joe Jack says he loves them for the story. And
Yeah,
oh, Fire Emblem. I'm glad you brought that up. Fire Emblem. It's another series that has been around for a long
yeah,
time, another anime
Fire
game series.
yeah, and Fire Emblem is sort of like there's a little bit of that visual novels like what was the name of the game? It was a Game Boy game. Advanced Wars is sort of similar to Fire Emblem. Where there is that whole like half visual novel, half uh turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, it's as far as I can tell, the Fire Emblem series is mainly strategy, and I guess all of them have really solid stories and really dynamic characters. And Chase in chat
Yeah.
says that's why he played all four routes of the three houses. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but
Well, I'm trying to think. There's this one game that I played that I go back to every now and again. Trillion. It's Trillion. It's a very anime game. Like just looking at it's anime. There's a real time like RTS strategy thing to it, or turn based strategy thing to it, and there's like a lot of it's just like visual novel though. Like so much of it is just like talking and discussing and plotting your day and things like that. And that's where it loses me. Is because it's like I want to enjoy the fighting. But like I said, I grew up on fighting games. I love fighting games.
It doesn't only have to be fighting all the time.
No, exactly. It doesn't have to be, but when don't make your main focus, the talky part. Nobody watches like an action movie for the talky part,
I watch movies and I play games for all of it. If I don't,
well, that's
all
why I
of it.
like JRPGs.
I want the story,
though.
and I want the action, and I want the puzzles.
Yeah.
Give me the cuteness and a little bit of romance, and
But that's why I like
happy.
JRPGs.
I don't just pick and choose parts that I want.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my thing though, is that I want a balance to the game, and I don't like it when it becomes one over the other to such an extreme degree. When you have a game, that focuses on plot and combat, I don't want one to be so much larger than the other. Like if it's all combat and a little bit of plot, it gets a little boring because it's like, what am I doing this for? And if it's all plot and very little combat, it's just like I'm just watching an anime at this point.
Look, plot can be good if used the right way. It has to be able to interest
that's what
you.
I just said. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be able to interest you and keep your focus. And look, we know that's not what you personally are in the game for.
That is incorrect.
If it's got a good plot, then I'm down to sit there and have days of text about it. I'm okay with this if it's good.
That's why, like I said, it needs a balance. It can't just be too heavy one or the other. Like, I'm not in it just for fighting, but I don't want to just, like, I don't want a visual novel. I don't want to just sit there and just, like, click answers, I need something else to interest me. And that's why, like I said, I like JRPGs. There's a good balance of story, of plot, story, character development, action, fighting. There's like JRPGs are my favorite because they balance everything out really well. Like everyone knows Final Fantasy VII story, and most people love the story. The story is great. And yeah, like Chase said, JRPG does things right. It does. And I feel like visual novels need just a little bit more, because they are what they say they are. They are a visual novel.
I was just gonna say that's what they are, is a visual novel, and some of them don't even really give you the choices that we expect now. Some of them just, you're here for the story and that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I had one where like I was just like, I don't really care for the scene that's going on right now, and I hit the skip button to skip the scene, and it literally like skipped me like 3 weeks into the story, and I was like, that was one scene? What?
Wow.
Okay. It like skipped so much, and I was like, wow, I'm glad I skipped that, I guess. Missed a lot. I was bored. But I also realized that usually when you hit the skip, it takes you to your next dialogue option. That was a long time to a dialogue option.
Yeah, sometimes it do be like that.
Yeah, and that's sort of like, I'm not playing a game at this point. I am literally just watching something. And if I'm going to watch something, I'll watch an anime.
I understand what you're saying, but for those that do enjoy a good visual novel, then
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I don't like them. Like, I want to know what everyone's favorite video games are in general. I would love to hear what everyone's favorite games are.
Don't ask me to make that choice. I don't.
You don't need to make one. I never said one.
I can't. We would be here for like the rest of the cast as I started listing my favorite games.
Dude, I also said in the comments. So.
Oh well, fine then.
You don't have to list them all right now. Like I've already
Final Fantasy VII. That's one of them. There you go.
I've played nearly every Final Fantasy, and I've enjoyed nearly every Final Fantasy.
They're all good. Did you play the remake?
Yeah. Which remake? The Final Fantasy VII remake? No, I don't have a PS4.
Sucks to be you.
When it comes out on PC, I will play it.
It's good.
That is when I will play it.
But look, there's a lot we could sit here and hash through about anime games, as DC was saying, but there's just so much because anime games are a very broad. It's like we're taking all these other genres and just shoving it into
Yeah,
a gigantic box and we wrote anime games on the front of it.
that's sort of one of the problems with like when you go on a Steam and you look up the anime tag, is that anime is such a broad category.
And let's also be real, there's a lot of room for less sensible, tasteful. There's a word. Less tasteful games in that too.
Yeah, more mature,
More
more
mature
adult
games. Like if you
themed.
go and look up anime games, I guarantee you're gonna see them peppered throughout actual. I mean, I'm not saying that adult
And
games are not actual games. I'm
yeah,
not saying
no.
that.
Some of them can be like some of them can legitimately be decent games, but most of them are just visual novels.
Yeah,
Most of them really are just visual novels, and there's nothing wrong with any game genre. I don't care what game genre you prefer. It's your preference. It's your choice. Those are the things that you like, and I enjoy specifically like anime games around animes that I myself like. So I do have a lot of One Piece games because I like One Piece. I have a lot of Dragon Ball Z games because I like Dragon Ball Z. I have a lot of Naruto games because I like Naruto. I have a lot of Bleach games because I like Bleach. You
I
know,
actually don't have a lot of anime games because look, I do have a Naruto one. I have the first My Hero one, and I mainly got those ones to play with my kids because they also watch these animes with me. Like, I'm not just gonna play one of these fighting games by myself with like if I've watched the anime, these games are taken directly from the anime storyline pretty much. Then I can skip it for me personally.
well that's most anime games though. They're taken directly
Yeah.
from the story.
Look, I mean, if it's even if it's great, the cost of games, a good quality game these days, if you get it brand new, is at least $60.
Yeah.
At least. So it's like, I already know all of this storyline that's gonna happen. I know how the fights turn out. Like, even if I played it and it's non-canon, so because they have to make it be fun, you
The
know.
argument of like, is it the destination or the journey?
Yes.
You're like, I already know the destination, so I don't care about the journey. I'm like that for certain
I mean,
things.
if like I always keep an eye out for them cheaper or older versions of the games, and I'll pick them up and I'll enjoy them. But
Like,
just brand new,
well, for me, I don't like that's not something that I mind. I'm in it for the gameplay. So like I have One Piece Burning Blood, which is a fighting game. I have One Piece Pirate Warriors 3, which is a beat 'em up game. I've got One Piece World Seeker, which is an open world RPG.
that does like that fairy tale game I mentioned sounds pretty cool. I might check that out.
Yeah, no, One Piece World Seeker is fantastic if you want to be Luffy and just like just fly around an island. And
Hmm,
it's just like one giant One Piece episode that I think is like Kira Toriyama helped write it and things like that. So it's really cool that they got. And well, that's another thing I was gonna say. I love when they get like the mangaka or like the creator involved in the game.
that is really cool.
That's when you get a really solid game. I've noticed because the plot becomes more show like.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for. Like you want that more that makes it feel like you're actually there and it's not just some
Yeah,
sort of tie-in cash grab kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
For sure.
Because there's some anime games. Those are the ones I don't buy.
The Witcher 3, is that an anime game?
I would not count that as an anime game.
No, but it is.
It's a
Well,
fantastic game. It's
is
not
it
an
is it a
anime game.
JRPG though?
No, I mean
No.
it's not a JRPG. It's not Japanese. It's Polish.
Oh. Hmm.
It's like a Polish story done by a Polish developer, I think.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But look,
So
that's
it's more
another
of a
one that I
Polish
have,
RPG.
and I just haven't played it yet.
I have
I
1 and 2. I don't have 3.
I have 3. I just haven't played it yet.
Oh, the Dot Hack games. There are
Oh,
so many Dot Hack games.
there
There
is.
is So many.
What about Near Automata?
Oh,
Whatever.
that is part of the Near. There's a whole thing about that. I think that's based off the Dragon Age series too. I think like it all Near and Dragon Age are like connected in like one
As long as
weird
they don't make a really
storyline.
bad CGI movie about it. Call back. Chase says it's just the best game that has dialogue options and battle and choose your own ending, which is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
You love to see it. You love to see
You
it.
want a game with more. I want more choose your own ending games, but like Final Fantasy, so I got
Yes,
so many
look,
Final Fantasy games. I got so
you
many
love to
Final
see a
Fantasy
game
games.
that has that kind of option, especially when if you're depends on the game you're playing, whatever you're expecting to sit down and play. But when you have a RPG like that, it really immerses you in the world when you can make your
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Dragon
When
Age,
you're
like The Witcher, like
when your
just
choices
Mass Effect,
matter.
all of those games. But this is not we're not those games aren't really anime games, but
No,
you want to
I've
see that.
noticed. Yeah, I've noticed there is a lack of anime games that sort of have the option to be bad. If you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and honestly,
it.
that's one of the things I would like to see more of those. And look, you can't. I mean, as much as you say you could, you really can't use an anime with a pre-established world and give your player characters that much
Yeah.
freedom within it.
Well, that's why I like. That's why you have games like there are games that are in the anime style. They have all of the they're made by Japanese companies. They're in the anime style and things like that, and they're not based off of anything else. You know what I mean? They're just sort of their own thing, and that lets them do whatever they want. But you do have games that are based off established canon and lore and things
I
like
just
that. And that
remembered an anime game that I do have, and I did play. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
which one?
Full Metal Alchemist for the DS.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody actually found it and gave it to me because they're like, "Oh, you like these things, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yes." Back when my DS was pretty much a glorified Pokemon machine, which whose isn't?
yeah,
Let's be real.
yeah,
and and look, it was not bad. It was a side scroller beat 'em up. You started on the train, and it was from the original Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood. And
yeah.
I didn't beat it, and my child actually kind of inherited it with the other non-Pokemon games that I did not want for the DS, and he was playing it, and he brought it to me, that's what reminded me of it, and he's like, "Mom, I wanna watch this show," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, but not that one. We're gonna watch the good one, not that one."
Chase says Persona's a little slow for me, but I need to try to get into it further. Persona's one of those games where I think it's a good balance of fighting, plot, character development, and other stuff.
Look, I've
Because
heard so many people talk about Persona, but I've never played it myself.
so Persona is a JRPG with the whole purpose of building relationships, and not like intimate relationships, friendships, and things like that. You can have a girlfriend in the game. They do allow that, and
Ooh.
if you get too many girlfriends, it becomes a problem.
Can you
But
can you can you do intimate relations?
no,
Damn.
that's not the point of the game. I will get into something, but no, that's not the point of Persona.
I can do intimate relations in Dragon Age and Mass
Persona
Effect.
Persona brings about the arcana. Like if you know anything about tarot, it brings in like the major arcana, and like every connection is based off of the arcana, and that allows you to build stronger and better personas. And that's sort of where friendship and connections like that are important. It's always about
Chase in
that.
chat says, "Ew, friendship."
But Persona is also about like the in-depth story. It has like each game has a very in-depth story. It has numerous dungeons that you go through, and you get tons of different personas. You can only have like 12, so kind of like Pokemon. You can fuse them and do other things with them, and it's a really great game. But as for what you were talking about, you would probably like the game Conception, which is Persona, but with the purpose of trying to make star babies.
Star babies.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds like it's into more of a sensual adult mature game.
Yeah, it's not really. Nah. A little bit more, but nah.
You know, like that one game that I talked about.
Yeah, no, not
the...
really. Yeah, not close to that one. It's more adult, but not that adult.
You don't want to know. And if you don't
No,
know already,
no.
you don't want to know.
And it's
So much
just
editing.
so yeah. If you like, it's very much like a Persona ripoff. But I also have another game.
What was it? Hold on. Help me remember. I'm sorry. There's a game with like a bear. It's an anime game series.
Oh, Dragonropa.
Dragon, that's the one. Ropa,
Dragonropa.
Dargan
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
played them. I played a demo, and
Watch
it
the
was
anime.
like, is there an anime of that one, or did the game come first? I thought the game series came first.
Game first, then anime. Sort of like Persona, game then anime.
Is that one any good? Do you know? I don't know.
The Persona, the Danganronpa anime. I know it's good. I watched it. The Persona anime. Oh, Danganronpa. I think it's very much sort of in the style of a visual novel, or maybe closer to like 999 in its style. I think it is. I think. Don't quote me on it.
Well, why you think? I'll tell you guys that, you know, we're going to have to wrap up this topic after DC has himself a think, because there's just so much to talk about this. Well, this is another one of those topics that we will have to touch on again later and stuff like that. So, you know, if one more time, if you guys got a favorite, let us know, or a suggestion, because I'm going to definitely check out 999, and the other games that DC will have to remind me of later that I totally should have written down, but I didn't. Oh,
yeah,
and
don't worry, I got
Syria. That one.
Yeah,
too.
I got tons of them that I can tell you about.
Right.
Yeah, Danganronpa was originally a video game turned into an anime. Also has smartphones, manga.
We're not touching the
novel adaptions.
Not today.
It's got 2 anime television series.
We didn't even talk about Kingdom Hearts.
No, well, is that really? It's anime / Disney.
But all of the human characters are taken from actual anime, like anime style JRPGs and stuff.
Yeah.
And the ones that are original characters for the series, like Sora and Riku and others, are all in that style. So I guess it would count as an anime styled game.
Yeah, you remember when we discussed weird genre mashups?
Yes.
Adventure, visual novel, shooter, murder mystery.
That's a thing.
that's Danganronpa for you. As a weird mix-up. What?
I don't know, confusing. But honestly, I'm more interested now.
Yeah?
Spice in some horror elements, and I'm good to go, but...
Well, is it horror when it's murder mystery? Because it's murder mystery.
Super spook? I like spook.
I don't know. Oh, you'll like 999 then.
I like spook. Anyway, I think it's time we move on, DC, my good man, to...
Oh, we're moving on to Anime Club. DC. You all know.
What's
you know. They know Anime Club is where we get together and we watch anime shows together. We are currently watching Death Parade and Jujutsu Kaisen. We also watch movies every week. This week we watched The Princess and the Pilot, if I'm remembering the name correctly.
That is the name of the movie we watched, and we will be discussing the episodes we watched this week right here live on Cast. But if you want to hear the discussion for the movie, it's Patreon only, baby.
But do you know?
We can swore.
No, I was gonna say, do you know what next week's movie is, though?
What's next week's movie?
We don't have one planned. It's a wild card pick. So you all are gonna need to look on our Twitter. Look on our Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube, you've only got like a couple hours left, one day, to make your pick. Go to our Twitter and vote.
DC and I will each pick a movie that we put up for you guys to pick from. You guys should totally pick my movie because it's going to be awesomer.
You don't even know what your movie pick is yet, do you?
I will know by soon. Do you know what your movie pick is, DC?
Oh, yeah, I got one.
Oh, yeah? Maybe I know and I'm just holding it off for drama and suspense purposes. What's yours, DC?
I want to throw up One Piece Film Gold. Just because I want to make you watch a One Piece movie.
What?
Film Gold.
One Piece Villain Gold.
Film
Gold.
It is probably the greatest thing ever made.
Oh. Okay. You know what movie I'm going to throw up for the wild card pick this time?
You don't even know.
I do know.
What?
I do. Pokemon the movie, I Choose You. I've not seen it. I've heard it's good and pretty much a retelling of the original first story. But you know what? Let's watch it. Let's go on this adventure together. Let's do it. Pokemon is a classic. We gotta have it. You gotta love it. You don't want to jump into the middle of a One Piece. No, just jump in a Pokemon movie at the very beginning and enjoy it with me.
So, let's get to our anime.
Death Parade Season 1, Episode 10.
I want to say one thing before we fully get into the discussion of these animes. There's a common theme between these two episodes.
Is there now?
The meaning of life.
You think so?
I mean, that's pretty much what the entire point of Death Parade's episode was.
Yeah.
And it's also brought up within Jujutsu Kaisen.
A little.
But
look,
pretty big focus.
You think so? Let's find out. We Death Parade starts off with Decim like first waking up. It's like definitely a flashback, and Nona's with him. In the way that black-haired girl woke up from like this raised dais, this platform.
It's like a tree stump.
Yeah, it's like a fancy. It's got flowers. Like
it's literally like a tree stump. It's got roots.
Not a little, a lot.
Leaves.
Yeah, look, Chase. But anyway,
Angels doesn't know symbolism.
Look, it's the holidays. My brain is just trash right now. You're lucky I'm conscious.
How's that different from any other day?
Jerk. That's rude. I'm telling my mom.
Drop.
Anyway, so Decim wakes up. He's got no memories. Nona's like, "Yeah, you're an arbiter."
Yeah.
Don't encourage him at chat. Don't encourage him. him.
So yeah, he's an arbiter. It's his creation. We get a recap on like the rules of arbiters as Decim is being led to Nona.
Yep. And, like the arbiters have to make judgments. They can't experience death. They can't
because of being too close to humans. Yada, yada.
All those things over again. And so Decim's there, but he seems upset. Seems a little...
Yeah, he's questioning his purpose in life.
Mm-hmm. Because
he's...
the confrontation in the last episode, and black-haired girl's been really upset about it and his method of judgment, and he thinks it's flawed, and method may create the drama, not uncover what their real hearts are.
It's not creating it's not uncovering the darkness in their soul, it's creating it.
Yes, exactly. And he says he's got respect for it, but he's got respect for people who live a full life, and he doesn't
doesn't want to keep doing it. Doesn't want to keep judging people.
Not like this, anyway. Not like this.
So then we get a scene with a black-haired girl. And spoilers for later on in the episode. We actually find out her name this episode.
We do.
But black-haired girl's skin is cracking, revealing the puppet underneath.
Yeah, it's like crumbling and... Yeah, poor thing.
Sounds like porcelain breaking.
Yeah, it does. And then we go to Nona, and she's talking about how her time is running out, and she asks if Decim can judge her yet.
You gotta judge her.
You need to
judge
her. You gotta judge her.
You do it.
And Decim's like, no. And they go back and forth, and she's like, you better do it. Like, you gotta. And, like, Decim says something about conditions, and Nona asks if he wants her memories back.
He's also talking about how, like, it wouldn't show her true nature.
Yeah, he wants to judge her without invoking her darkness.
And Nona's just like, you might not know it when you see it.
I don't think you know it, even if you did. Likely you won't understand, is what the dub's quote was.
Yeah,
And
the sub was like, you might not even know it when you see it.
yeah, and Deckham gets upset, and he does the Arthur fist clench meme,
Yeah.
which we don't see our boy Deckham shaken up very often.
No, but this time he
So
was mild.
he was, and Nona's like, "Go away! You're getting a guest. Judge her no
Yeah, I'm
matter
gonna
what,
send you.
and
Yeah,
you're
I'm gonna
still
send
an
you a
arbiter.
special guest.
You're still an arbiter."
Yep, until you quit.
So she's like, "Yeah, you're that's what you're doing, buddy. I know you don't want to, but too bad."
So
And
we
then we
get,
go to Black Hair and Deckham,
yeah,
and he's like,
she's realized she used to be human.
"Yeah," and he's like, "A guest is coming,"
Yeah,
and they talk about the fact that she knows she's human, and she says she's
yeah.
figured it out. And he says
It's
something
time
else
for
you should
judgment.
know is that humans can't stay here long. You
Yeah,
can't. I can't wait
you
any
can't.
longer. I need to
Your
judge you
time
soon.
is pretty much. Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
judge you now, is what he said. Your time for judgment has come.
Yep.
Also, when the guest arrives, he is receiving no memories and will have no knowledge of the game they'll play.
Nope.
So we didn't know this before, that they would have firsthand knowledge of the game that would be picked. We
We
knew
did
about
not.
the memories. We did not know that they were given knowledge on the game.
Yep. Oh, did Black Hair Girl also yelled at him like nothing's changed. It didn't matter what I said. And he's like, "Look, I'm still an arbiter, lady. This is still my
Yeah.
job." So look, Deckham's in a difficult position, but the guest that shows up is a cute little old lady.
An old maid.
That joke was so bad, and
That
because that's the
was
game,
great.
it was cute, but at the same time, it was just like, But look, it's a little old lady, and they play old maid, and Deckham joins the
Yes.
game. Deckham joins the game because they can't play
It
old maid
needs,
with two.
yeah, it has to have 3 players.
Oh, so
Which,
black-haired girl. I almost said her name. It's a little early for that, but black-haired girl, Deckham, and old lady all play old maid.
so yeah, this is really interesting because this was the least interesting game they've played in the least interesting manner. Like, think
Can we
about.
also say she's the only guest that's arrived completely by herself?
Mhm.
I have a theory that our black-haired girl has something to do with this woman. That's why she's there by herself.
I don't think so, because the old woman, we get to it a little bit later, but we get told, like, as she's looking at the cards and stuff, Deckham explains that, like, the cards all have things that are important to the players,
Yeah.
and that it's all mixed up. Which I've noticed interesting things about Deckham's cards, which you could tell which ones were Deckham's because they had previous players,
Mm-hmm.
and they also had things that belonged to other arbiters.
Yes, they did.
So
And
like
the
the
old lady's cards, you find out she's an illustrator.
mangaka.
Yes. Well, in the dub, it was I'm an illustrator.
That's, I
And
mean, she's a mangaka.
well, see, that's what I assumed, but that's what the words they chose. But
They
anyway,
should have just said artist.
yeah. But she's like, "Oh, I'm not very popular, but I do have, I do illustrations and stuff. I draw stuff." And she actually sees her characters on these cards.
Yes. And
So
that's
Declan
when,
explains the game, and they start playing. Everyone knows how to play Old Maid, right? Because we need to
yeah,
explain the rules of Old Maid.
you go so you put all the pairs you have down, and then you start taking a card from the players in a circle, and whoever gets rid of their card first wins, and whoever's left with the joker loses.
Yeah. The Joker had ice skates on it, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, which is was just connected to the black-haired girl. We already know this from just like the opening music. She's
Uh-huh.
always ice skating and things like that.
Yep.
Chase says it's a reflection episode. The old woman is representation of a full life and happiness in being fulfilled. Yeah, it's someone Deckham truly respects. But
As they're
he
playing,
we get a flashback to red
Deckham
haired.
sees one of Genty's dolls. Is that the
Yeah,
flashback?
Ginty's. Yeah, he sees Ginty's dolls, which tells us that even though him and Ginty don't really get along, that he values Ginty.
Yeah. But Genty we see Genty still having his human girl, and she snores like a cow, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
And Genti thinks Deckham's been acting like a human because of his hesitation over judging and his emotional attachment to these people. And pretty much what the black-haired girl has been saying this whole time has made Deckham second think everything. And so he's
Yeah.
asking other arbiters, and the
So
other arbiters like,
yeah,
no.
he says, "Why do we pass judgment?" And then Gindi just says, "We are here to judge, so we judge. Living has no meaning. They like humans only live to die in the end." And
Stop
like,
thinking about it. There's
yeah,
no meaning to life.
there's,
Just judge people.
I mean, there's a little truth to that in the technicality
What's
that,
that Rick and Morty quote? Nobody belongs anywhere. There isn't.
yeah,
Yeah, that one.
we
I
would
don't know.
like most people, like, this is an example, like, it's very human to search for purpose. What is your purpose? But this is my own personal belief, is that I don't think there is a purpose. I think that the only meaning to life is to give your own life meaning. Life has no meaning on its own. It's what we
Life is what
create
you
of it.
make it.
Yeah, that's what it is, because you exist, and how you go throughout your life is what gives it meaning and purpose. You create it. It's just how it is. You create that meaning, that purpose. And so, while I would say that
Good old Nishiki. Is that how I say
Nietzsche,
that?
Nietzsche,
Nishiki? Nietzsche?
Nietzsche, yeah.
Nietzsche.
And so, while I'll say that Ginty has some truth in it, we all do just live to die, because we all do die in the end. It's the choices we make, and what we do in our life, that gives it purpose and meaning.
Yeah, exactly. And
But
then the game
when you have no
continues.
human emotions, you wouldn't really have the human ideology of give your
You're
life
right.
purpose.
We see some other cards in Deckham's hand. We see the Joker with the ice skates, the old telephone.
Yeah.
And then we
Nona.
see black-haired girl. It's her turn to pick, and she
Yeah.
takes the Joker from Deckham's hand.
Deckham, because Deckham took the Joker from the old lady. It really goes it just keeps going in a circle.
Yes.
But
And
yeah, then we get Nona going to see Quinn, and she wants all of the black-haired girl's memories. And Quinn's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, don't worry about the arbiter limit. Give me the whole thing."
did you notice that Quinn was like standing on top of piles and piles of
Piles of
sacks?
yeah, and she's just like, "Do you know how many people die every second?" Which,
Like,
it's surprising how fast she found those memories.
she must have had some way to find the general area they were in, despite
Yeah,
her
probably
complaining.
some. Yeah, probably some, like, time, like, pile. You
I don't
die
know.
X days ago. Like, this is all the deaths for this day or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
makes sense. Makes sense.
But yeah, she also gets bribed with alcohol from the human world, because this is the thing, right?
Quinn's weak. Let's
We're
be real.
informed.
Quinn's
Yeah,
weak.
but we're informed that arbiters don't get human emotions, right? Why
That's
does
true.
every arbiter act so human?
Genti's
Like,
angry frequently,
yeah, and
and
he loves taking, like, he takes pride in messing with people. Like, that's sadistic. That's not like no emotion. Deckham was the ultimate example of, like, no emotion. He just sort of, like, existed as, like, a blank.
yeah, even when we saw Deckham displaying emotion, such as when he hugged those two that were like really sad,
Yeah,
he hugged them, but he still was a blank slate. Like he knew he understood what they were feeling and knew they needed comfort, but
yeah,
he
but he
was
didn't
not
know how to
feeling
express
the
it.
emotion. At least, yeah, it looked
Yeah,
like with the other ones that are not supposed to feel emotion, Quinn is very, very happy with her bottle of
and
booze.
lazy. Like,
Is lazy in emotion because that be me.
it is. Think about it. That's very human to be like, what? Not like, I don't want to do it. Like, when you think of, like, arbiters or puppets, then they shouldn't. They should just do their job and not complain.
Yeah, they should not be like emotion makes personality, and personality is what we're
Yeah.
seeing.
But it was
If you
also
didn't have any
stated, like, Quinn was the only arbiter to ever quit being an arbiter. So that's
that takes
very,
emotion.
yeah, that's human. Like, what?
If they were just created just to do their jobs, they'd be more like robots, autonomous, and they
Yeah,
just
yeah, exactly. I don't understand the world.
it's okay, it's okay. Anyway, we go
Yeah,
back to our game, and Grandma's got a card with a little boy riding a chicken, and she remembers back to drawing. And then when she wins the game, and
she wins unmade.
she asked Deckham for honesty, and she's like, "Is this the afterlife?"
Yeah,
And
she's
the
like
reason why she figured it out is because that she had not drawn that drawing yet.
yeah, it never existed in reality, only in her head. It was a character
Mhm.
she always wanted to draw but never did. And she kind of goes off and explains how like um the characters that she drew were her kids because her and her husband could never have kids. Um, she drew a pirate duck that could have fit in One Piece. I noted that because she had like robots and pirate duck and like all sorts of different characters. They weren't
Cutesy little.
yeah, they didn't seem connected in theme because there's like a caveman. Like I was like, what kind of manga do you draw that you're drawing all these characters at the same time?
Maybe she just did illustrations for like businesses and stuff, and they commissioned her for cutesy little like clip art type things.
That's not how she described herself. She described herself as a mangaka. So,
Not in dub. She just said an
well, the dub
illustrator.
is wrong.
Fair enough.
Uh,
But
but yeah,
anyway, and then she's like, it's okay. I'm okay with being dead because I didn't remember how I died. Deckham's
mhm,
like, even though Deckham says he denied her memories, he's like, do you want to know how you died?
yeah.
No, no.
No, she's just like, no, I'm old. I'm old.
She's
I don't
happy
want.
with her ignorance, which honestly, don't blame her.
Yeah, she's been the most interesting character since the start because she just like, oh, I need to play a game to get out of here. All right, then I'll play. I've got time. I'm old. I don't care.
And look, and she also points out that she's happy, she's okay with dying, she's lived a full life, and you can see
Yeah,
Deckham just like, yes, this is it, yes. But
I
then you have to
really,
continue the game because there's still no clear loser.
yeah. It's between Deckham and the
Black
black-haired
haired
girl.
girl.
But
So then we go back to Nona and Quinn,
yeah, we
and
discussed that. That's when
oh
she
yeah,
gets the
yeah,
memories and
sorry,
bribes
that's
with
just where my
alcohol.
notes went. She complains a lot. That was pretty much what that note was Nona
Mhm.
or Quinn complains a lot. Which emotion? You wouldn't complain if you didn't feel like you
Yeah,
were being overworked or taken
yeah,
advantage of. So,
exactly.
feel things.
Uh,
So
but I was gonna say
they're playing the game,
yeah, black-haired girl throws down the pair of chavo from Chavot,
the
and
book
the old
that
lady is like,
he
oh, I
steals.
remember this. Yeah, I remember this book, and we get like the thing where black-haired girl, not black, the old lady asks if they know how we can express our feelings, because the whole point of Chava was she was deaf, so she couldn't hear feelings, and
Hmm.
that's the main way that people express their feelings. And the way that she describes like people smile when they're happy, no matter what land they're from, and they frown when they're sad.
This
And
is true.
that's true. Like those are the very base human emotions. Like
Which is
all
funny if you
humans
think
have
about it,
them.
because any other species, a display of teeth is an aggressive gesture.
Yeah, but with humans, it's like, oh, we're happy, and it's so strange. And confusion is like a general look. Like when you're confused, everyone has the same confused look. Like you know when someone's confused or angry or happy or sad or disgruntled, and you doesn't matter if you don't speak the same language. It is the physicality of it that we understand.
The expressions, yes.
Yeah, and so
And that's what
the
Grandma talks about
yeah,
there.
and the black haired girl remembers
Her mother,
her mother reading this book to her, and we get her name is Chiyuki.
Chiyuki. And she's like, and she gets emotional, and then and then she's like, "Yeah, my name's Chiyuki," and then it's
Chiyuki.
Deckham's turn, and he drops the last pair, leaving as Chiyuki to lose the
Boom.
game.
Yeah. And
And
so
honestly, it was the chillest, most relaxed game too, because they just
yeah, it was just like boop 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 boop. Um
no high stakes, no evil buttons, nothing. They just played the
yeah.
game.
And they lead the old lady to the elevator, and she gets to keep the cards, and she thanks Deckham for it. And
It's
she
very
she
cute.
tells she tells Chiyuki, she says that she always thought it was weird that the person left with the Joker is the loser, because usually in cards the Joker is a trump card.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to hold on to it till the end.
Yeah. And she just was amused by that concept in
Huh.
Old Maid.
Yeah,
But the
she's
grandma also asked if
nice.
Chiyuki is coming with her.
And she says she'll not at the moment, she's gonna stick around a little longer.
But did you
And
notice that somehow the grandma understood without anything that Chiyuki and Deckham were like different? Like Deckham
yeah,
obviously, but the grandma somehow understood that Chiyuki should have been going to an elevator.
Yeah, I think that's because that's age and experience. You know, she knows. I mean, if I was there, well, that one has crosses in his eyes, and that one doesn't.
Look, no one else has noticed the crosses
It's
in the
weird,
eyes of
isn't
the
it?
viewers,
It's really weird, isn't it?
But
But
anyway,
yeah, she gets reincarnated. Just so everyone knows, it's the white
Grandma deserves
reincarnation
it.
mask. She did. She
good.
was so nice. She just lived
Wholesome.
her life.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
I want some cookies from that grandma. Well, I can't because she's dead, but maybe in her next life she can make me some cookies. And then she asked Deckham like how it happened, and he's like, "We're not gonna do this way. Not doing it."
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. How did
And
I
then
die?
we're at the pool room, and when this is the
pool
most
table.
interesting scene of this whole episode is
Oculus
meeting with Clavis, the elevator boy.
Yeah, Oculus is the old man's name.
Mind you, Clavis has been in the background for all of the things Nona has been doing.
I know, right? He's just there. Dude is just there.
He doesn't just stay with the elevator. No, he's been with her. I don't know why. And Oculus, which is our flower dude, he's like, "Do you play billiards?" And he's like, "No, thank you."
No.
Very politely refused.
And then his flower beard wraps around his head, and he starts taking a look into his brain, and he says, "I'm just going to take a quick peek." And my notes were just flower beard. WTF?
How?
What?
Like, but
and then he gets like his.
It.
So he has slit eyes, like he has the slit pupil, and they get all like more snake-like. You notice?
Yes.
And I was just like,
"Oh, interesting. How utterly pointless." And he's like, "Okay, Clavis, that's all I needed. Bye-bye." Clavis is like...
Oh, in the sub, he says, an arbiter with human emotions. Interesting, and how utterly pointless.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he said, yeah.
But, like, it's so weird. I mean, I guess this is why he's the closest thing that this place has to a god. Because, what?
Yeah, pretty much. Nona should have known that would happen.
Maybe she did. Maybe she's playing 4D chess.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so we're back to Chiyuki and Deckham, and he doesn't think people live just to die. Go ahead.
I want to say this. That he ends it with a very nice sentiment. There is a point to living and to judgment. Judgment should be done hand in hand with life and death. And he asks her to tell him everything.
Yeah. He's like, it requires emotions. And Chiyuki's still crumbling, by the way, during this.
Oh, yeah.
And and Deckham's like making intense gazing eye contact. And
I mean, Deckham's still new with emotions.
She looked kind of confused.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see after credits, Genti, I don't know what this scene is, but I'm sure we'll find out, with an evil grin looking at somebody. We see like the bottom.
It looked like he made something. Because like the water and the I don't know. It doesn't show us the face. It just shows us like a dude in a suit.
That's all we get.
By the way, since we didn't say it, the title of the episode was Storyteller.
I said it.
But do you know what the title of Jujutsu Kaisen episode 10 is?
Idle Transfiguration.
Yeah, Idle Transfiguration. Which you get told later why. As a manga reader, I already know.
Sorry, there are strange noises at my door. But so we see the kids.
Junpei's life sucks.
Yeah, it do. Bullied again, and there's like a movie club thing, and we just...
It starts off...
It's just showing the beginning, showing that Junpei is just...
It starts off with the fact that Junpei is in a movie club with two other people, and they're currently discussing a scary movie type series, which was all about a parody of a horror show. And the bullies come in and are like, "Yo, we told you this was our place. Get out!" And they start kicking the DVDs and stepping on them. And Junpei, you know what? To his credit, the other two dudes are just like, "All right, let's go." And Junpei is just like, take your foot off of it. I want to take that DVD home.
That's fine.
You gotta give him credit. He's got cojones.
He
he's
does.
got like he's gonna get beat up, but he's like, I don't care.
You're
And
right.
I mean, honestly, the dudes literally just like kick him down, and he tells them all to leave and lock the door, and he just starts beating the crud out of him.
Yeah, poor dude.
And then
Poor
we get
Junpei.
an
So it's
interesting
back to
philosophical debate.
Stitches and Junpei talking.
Yeah, talking about a quote, which is the opposite of fondness and hate is hate. But it's a misquote, and the actual quote was the opposite of love is indifference.
Yeah. So
And
love, difference, and fondness, and humans can't live without excuses.
Yeah, and it's yeah, and he gets like we get a philosophical debate on that whole subject. Then we get introduced to a rather large purple monstrosity, which was Stitch's boy's experiment on how large he could make a person.
That thing. And then he also has how small he could make them. You find out that his power is manipulating the soul.
AKA
Idle transfiguration.
Correct. It's idle transfiguration.
So like he's been doing experiments with it, and he's like learning about his powers, but his subjects are living humans.
I've had this discussion with someone, and I think of this as Stitch's dude is obviously set up as our main villain. You know, he's the one leading the group of the other strong dudes. He's the one making the plans. He's the one in the background, and he's obviously new because he's like, unlike Volcano Dude, who just like is busting out all of his abilities and powers like crazy. This guy's like, oh, this is an experiment to see how big I could make something. This is an experiment to see how small I could make something. You can see he's playing with his powers. He's testing them. He's learning.
He's feeling them out. He's figuring them out. And then something else he also said that was interesting is the fact that once again, life doesn't. It has no importance. Life is meaningless.
Exactly. We hit another.
No value. Do what you want. Eat when hungry. Murder when angry. Pretty much.
Yes, exactly. I did find it interesting though. I want everyone to make a note of this because it was really weird when we hold the small creature, small human. He's like, "Oh, what? You aren't gonna freak out?" And Junpei's like, "I would probably lose control if it was my mom." And that indifference is the virtue people should strive to.
I guess. Look at me, already getting there.
I guess. I mean, my whole point was like, this is just years of bullying showing its effect.
Yeah, this poor kid has had to just like shut himself away from everything just to keep surviving. Yeah. So
Stitches is and then Stitches is just like, everything is souls. Like you're all things are the metabolism of soul. Like all of your feelings, everything you feel is just the soul's metabolism. It's and that the purpose of life is just to continue its cycle. So you should kill when you hate, and I mean basically just crush everything.
Eat when you're hungry, kill when you're angry. That's what I said. But so then we go see Glasses Dude and Yuji stalking Junpei, and then they're talking about like the other students, and we get like the very briefest blip of Panda and the cursed speech user. Throwing her through the atmosphere. So they're still training.
I love it so much. Panda
I don't know how throwing her frequently counts as training, but okay.
They stated it was to learn how to fall. That was like 2 or 3 episodes ago. They said it's to learn how to fall, which makes no sense, but all right.
I guess. Then they're gonna, and they explained the little curse in the cage that we saw. So
it's a fly head.
They're gonna use it to attack Junpei.
Yeah. And essentially, if
he responds, if he sees it and then doesn't respond, then he's not strong, kind of thing.
No, it was first if he can't see it, save him.
Yeah.
If he can see it but just runs away, save him. If he can see it and he kills it,
means to handle it,
capture him.
Then yes. And then if he reacts to it at all, they're going to capture and question him. And then if he
save him if he reacts to it. If he kills it, capture him.
Yes.
If he doesn't react, save it. If he reacts, save
they're
it.
still going to ask him questions because
Yeah, they want
to
talk to
what
him.
happened in the theater.
Yeah.
So then he also says, if we're going to apologize if it's a big misunderstanding and he knows nothing, he is equal or greater to than a grade 2 sorcerer. Retreat.
We retreat back to Nanami.
Chase in chat says, "Hey man, falling is an art."
Oh man, if you'd seen Ikebukuro Westgate Park, very true. Very
but
true.
Anyway,
falling is
so
an art.
Then Glasses Dude explains about the fact that even though a grade 2 curse and a grade 2 sorcerer are ideal for fighting each other, the sorcerer's going to have an edge.
Okay, so the way it is it's a sort of like off kilter layered system.
I want the sorcerer to be stronger than the curse.
Yeah, a grade 4 sorcerer is about equal to like a grade 3 curse. So a grade 2 sorcerer is about equal to a grade 1 curse. So basically grade 2 and grade 2 are like that. And then grade 1 and grade 1 are like that.
They do that intentionally, the power scale, so that way they can send a sorcerer that has a good chance of winning.
Yeah,
because
pretty much to give the sorcerer the
does
advantage.
not mean win.
Yeah, exactly.
Chase in chat says I fell wrong and broke a collarbone. Well, you must have failed at art. At your art of falling. Anyway.
But yeah, I like Yuji's whole thing is where he's just he's not into this. He's not into work because he's like, feels like I'm doing everything. I don't like it. He literally says it feels like I'm doing everything, and I don't like it.
He kind of is doing everything. Though,
I love Yuji as a main character because he's so relatable. He's just.
Sorry, I had an audio issue for a second. I think we're good. But
isn't Yuji just so relatable with the? It feels like I'm doing everything, and I don't like it.
He is. So now we're to Blonde Glasses Dude, and he's checking out some more mangled humans. Nanami, that's his name. And Stitch's dude pops out of nowhere in the sewers.
I loved this when he states like, I'm tired of murdering humans. Like, even though I know they're already dead, I'm tired of murdering humans. It makes me sick. Yeah. And he's like, no matter what happens, I'm getting off at 6:00. I hate overtime. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that Stitch's dude is just like, oh, I'm glad it's you and not Gojo. If it was Gojo, I'd be worried. Yeah. And I'm like, everyone's afraid of Gojo. It's like Gojo's just so strong that no one else is even recognized.
Get a story time on Gojo someday because I want to know.
Oh, kind of.
Can you tell me? I want to know. I don't want to.
Interestingly, actually, the manga does go into his backstory a bit.
Do it. I hope the anime does. But anyway, we see a random shot of Gojo running through wildflowers.
Yes, Gojo running through wildflowers saying, I'll kill you. And Nanami's just like, they both have that same, like, frivolous, carefree attitude that I hate.
Yes. And then
also,
they fight.
No, I love the question that Stitch's dude asks him, just like, oh, so your ability is like that then, and he says, I hate abstract questions that leave interpretation to others.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nanami is just so relatable.
He really is, and after that they start fighting, and
we also get more information that Stitch's dude can heal himself because what came first, the soul or the body? It was actually the soul. The body conforms to the soul, so he doesn't heal himself. What he does is he just maintains the shape of his soul, so he doesn't get injured because he maintained his soul shape.
Okay, can we talk about how when he nearly cut off Stitch's dude's hand, how that was just an underhanded tactic?
It's because he does critical hits!
He was disarmed.
Nearly disarmed. Nearly disarmed. I was nearly disarmed.
Just hanging on, but it's just a thread.
So yeah, he also says that he keeps a stockpile of humans. And then,
they're all like miniaturized like Pokeballs, and they're like human jerky.
Yeah, just keeps a stockpile of them, and he's like, normally they they die when I manipulate them. I wonder about what happens to Jujutsu sorcerers.
And look, and then he like expands one. And
Yes,
it
creepy.
starts like crying.
Yeah, and that's a little bit later. He's like,
And-
"Oh, don't worry about that. Sometimes the soul just leaks." like, what? It's a leaky soul. It's a leaky soul. You're gonna want to get that fixed. Just put some duct tape over it for now. Your soul will be fine.
It's fine. And then
it'll be fine.
Anonymous just like, I just want to be done with this by 6
Yeah,
p.m.
he's like, no matter what, I'm getting off at 6.
Chase in the chat says relatable screw overtime.
Flex tape. Yeah. Flex tape on your soul. That'll stop your leaky soul problem right there. But sometimes you get that leaky soul there. You just slap some flex tape on it. That leaky soul will be taken care of right away there. But
anyway, and then we go back to Yuji and Junpei and all them.
Oh
and
my god, I love this.
I love this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
His teacher, which is the teacher that we saw ignore the bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Literally ignore the bullying. And he's just like, hey, you haven't been to school. You didn't go to their funerals. Weren't you their friends? And Junpei kind of like goes off on a weird hate-filled murder tangent.
If those were his friends, that was the worst absolute way ever.
Yeah, that's like the worst teacher in history right there.
To break the news that your friends are dead.
Right? You didn't go to their funerals. Hey, you haven't been to school and you didn't go to your friends' funerals. Like, number one, I'd be like, wait, what? I'm sorry, they're dead?
The teacher
you could have
been nosy and really pushy and just
yeah.
And then he gets like a memory of Stitch's like, I will, what did he say? I will
yeah, basically to summarize what he said is like he will give him full permission to just go and murder. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, we see Junpei is absolutely
catches. Well, Junpei's like gonna freak out, and then Yuji like catches the little eye monster and does like a somersault and hits his head on a pipe. Which this anime just like mixes horrific terribleness with perfectly timed comedy.
It really does. It really does. And then Yuji immediately notices that Junpei sees the curse.
Yeah. And the teacher's like, "Who are you? Some kind of acrobat?" Da, 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 da. And he's just like, rrr, rrr, rrr. And
they go back and forth, and Yuji's like, "I just need to get rid of this."
Yuji's just like, "Yeah, whatever." Yuji's like, "I don't care about you. Hey, you and me, we need to talk, Junpei." And he's just like, the teacher's like, "Hey, don't you interrupt me!" And Yuji pulls his pants off and then runs down the street with them.
His pants, and he completely rips him away.
Pulls his pants off, not down. Off, like he's on the ground, pants off, in his boxers, and Yuji just runs down the street, and the teacher goes after him, and then Yuji just comes walking up behind, and Junpei's like, "Did you already run a full lap?" And he's like, "Yeah,
did it? That's fine."
Yeah,
and he's like, "All right, let's go talk, you and I." And Junpei's like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "I had a hunch you didn't like the dude. Was I wrong?"
He's like, "Yeah, I thought you hated that guy. Was I wrong? Should I go apologize?" Junpei's like, "No, you weren't wrong." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love Yuji. Okay, just so simple.
Yuji he's just a simple boy with simple meat brain, but he's still a good boy. Then we go back to our fight.
Yeah, that's when the soul sweat thing happens.
Yeah.
The thing cries, and he's like, so sad. And he's like, I normally don't bring personal. Just distorted.
Like, I don't. You remember what the silly putty that you put your face on, the old stuff, and it molded
and then you like
face,
pull it out. Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
I don't bring personal feelings into work. And Stitch's dude's just like, what do you mean? Your soul's trembling.
Yes, that you don't. And I can see you're upset. I don't know where the Irish came in that sentence, but it's here now, and it might be here to stay.
Nanami just like wiping that tear off.
Yeah.
So sad.
It is sad. And then he's like, and then Stitches just calls him out, though. And he's like, you know what? You'd make a good subject of my experiment, because you're strong.
I'm gonna touch your soul.
Dude blocks it. Nanami blocks it. And he's like, you shouldn't have been able to do that without know how to do it.
Also, don't ignore the fact that he had horse feet.
Look. He did it. He did change.
Because he can shape his soul. Yeah, he shaped his soul to gain horse feet.
which sounds kind of painful, honestly.
So yeah, he explained that normally you can't protect your soul unless you're aware of your soul, and that Nanami has somehow instinctually put cursed energy around his soul and protected it, which is interesting.
He's like, look, it'll be fine. I just need to touch you a few more times. And they're still fighting. And then Nanami looks down at his clock. It's 6 p.m.
Yeah, and the dude's just like,
his tie.
Yeah, the guy's like, the Stitches dude's just like, ha, don't try and play with me. I know you've reached your time limit. And he's just like taking his tie, wrap it around his hand, just starts busting out with spirit energy, and he's just like, I hate overtime.
Yep. Now it's time for overtime. And
I was just like,
it's over 9,000.
Dude, when that scene hit the manga scene, I was like, oh yes. And when it hit the anime and you just see his fist start glowing and it just like wraps around his whole body, I'm just sitting there like,
maybe
yes,
his blade this time.
No blade. He's going straight fist. So I'm just gonna punch you.
So then our ending plays, and then after the ending,
oh my god,
our Jujutsu scroll.
Yes,
it's Hammer Girl, Megumi, and the other students, and Hammer Girl's looking for her.
Yeah, she's looking for her Nobara. She's looking for her jacket. And she's like, have you seen it? He's like, no. Yeah, Panda. And he's standing there and he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Trying to act all cool.
Barely clinging to him because it's completely way too small. And then she like smacks the crap out of him.
And then
she's like, and where's my skirt? In pops Kurt's speech boy, and he's wearing a skirt. And he's like, Tuna or whatever.
Tuna.
Yes.
And then she beats him up and she rips it off. She's like, this is going too far. And she's like, wait,
my skirt. It's
this is Maki's skirt.
And then Gojo pops in
to Yuji with Yuji. He pops into Yuji's room and he pops in. He's like, I'm Nobara.
I love it. I love it so much.
It's so stupid, but it's so Gojo.
It's stupid, but I love Gojo. Gojo and Sykkuno are my boys in this anime, and I would be incredibly unhappy if anything happens to them.
I love Gojo so much.
I love him so much. Madam Kamei's Filipino class. Sorry, I watched Grandma over the weekend.
It's just it's too funny. He's too funny. He made, like last week.
Yep. He's just good, and I'm keen to see what happens next. I want to see Nanami actually get serious, which it seems like he's going to, because he wants to be done with overtime.
He does not like overtime.
That's all the time we have for discussing the episodes today. We're going to leap on into our Empire News, which, as always, we're going to thank all of our Patreons, because you guys are awesome. And we have Chase as Soul Reaper. We have Zach Cake as Jonine. Lisa AXO as Soul Reaper. And Adam Shipinski. Am I saying that right? I hope I am.
You say it every week. Just say Adam S. Just go Adam S. Don't even worry about
Soul Reaper. Thank you guys so much. And hey, glad to have you.
Yes, thank you for being our patrons. Thank you for supporting the cast. And y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
Hope you had great holidays. Hope your holidays were awesome.
Don't forget to get on Twitter as soon as the post is up and vote on your wild card pick for the movie for next week.
Yes, hopefully we'll have it up.
Mine is the Pokemon I Choose You movie.
Yes, hopefully we'll have it up in the next couple of days. Hopefully.
Yes.
But mine will be One Piece Film Gold.
You want mine. You want mine.
You want One Piece Film Gold because it's amazing.
But anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.